Okay, good morning, students. Today we'll discuss about the cellular events. As we are discussing, that is regarding acute inflammation. See, I told you it is divided into vascular as well as the cellular events. Okay, today we'll see about these cellular events. Again, these cellular events, if you see, which is having two processes. Okay, the first one is exudation. Okay, that is exudation of leukocytes, and the second one is phagocytosis. Okay, this is the two process you are going to be observed in case of this cellular events. Clear? Today we'll discuss in detail about the exudation of leukocytes. Okay, we'll see what happens in case of exudation of leukocytes. See here, there may be different changes that are going to be taking place during the process of exudation of leukocytes. Okay, we'll see what are the different changes that are going to be taking place, so that finally what happens, the leukocytes will be exudated from the microvasculature. Clear? And if you see, generally here the escape of leukocytes from the lumen of the microvasculature into the interstitial tissues. Okay, it's a very important feature of the inflammatory response. Clear? See what I'm saying here. This is a blood vessel. See, inside you are having the leukocytes. Clear? That is the lumen of the microvasculature. Clear? From this enter into the interstitial tissues. So that is the escape of leukocytes from the lumen of the microvasculature into the interstitial tissues. Okay, this is one of the important feature of the inflammation. Clear? So that we are going to learn how the leukocytes will be escaping out from the microvasculature into the interstitial tissues. Okay, that we are going to learn in detail today. Okay, there are different changes that are going to be taking place. We'll see what is the first change. First one is, that is changes in the formed elements of the blood. Okay, first one is changes in the formed elements. Okay, this is the first change you are going to be observed, that is changes in the formed elements. See, that means what happens in the early stage. Okay, if you see in case of early stage of inflammation, what happens, the blood flow. Clear? We had seen already the blood flow is going to be increased, that is because of vasodilation. Clear? In the early stages of inflammation, the blood flow is going to be increased because of vasodilation. Clear? Later on what happens, the blood flow is going to be decreased, that is because of stasis. We had seen the stasis or slowing. Clear? Because of this process, later on the blood flow is going to be decreased. See, because of this slowing or stasis, what happens, whatever the central stream of the cells. Clear? See, what is meant by the central stream of the cells? See, generally this is a blood vessel. Clear? Here you are having, suppose if you see, these are the red blood cells. You are having, that is WBC, that is leukocytes, the neutrophils that will be present, that is at the center of the lumen of the blood vessels. See, on the periphery you are having, that is plasma layer. Okay, that means very close to the blood vessels, to the wall of the blood vessel, you are having this, you will call it as a plasma layer. Okay, this is in general. Okay, normal blood vessel, how it will be, the cells will be present at the center and the plasma will be present towards the wall of the blood vessel. But because of this slowing or stasis, what happens, the central cells, okay, whatever the central cells will be present, the central cells will become widen and the plasma zone will become narrow. Here what happens, the plasma zone will become narrow. So because of this condition, whatever the central cells will be present, that will be coming closer to the vessel wall. Clear? Finally, the central cells will come very close to the, that is vessel wall. This you will call it as pavementation. Okay, this process you will call it as pavementation. Clear? See, this is the first change you are going to be observed in case of exudation of leukocytes. Okay, what is that? The changes in the formed elements. Okay, what is this formed element? That is RBC, WBC that are present inside the blood vessels. Clear? In the early stages of inflammation, what happens? The blood flow is going to be increased because of vasodilation. Later on, if you see, slowly the blood flow is going to be decreased because of stasis or slowing. Clear? See, because of that stasis or slowing, what happens? Whatever the cells, okay, that will be present, that is the central cells, will become widened and the plasma zone will become very narrow because of this slowing or the stasis. Clear? See, finally what happens? The central cells that is going to be comes closer to the vessel wall. Clear? See, whatever the cells that will be present at the center, okay, these cells will be coming very closer to the vessel walls. Then that process you will call it as a pavementation. Okay, this is the first change you are going to be observed regarding the exudation of the leukocytes. Okay, and we'll see what is the second change regarding this exudation of these leukocytes. Okay, that you will call it as rolling and adhesion process. Okay, the second change is, okay, that is rolling and adhesion. Okay, if you see this rolling and adhesion, see whatever the peripheral pavemented neutrophils. See, previously what we had seen here, whatever the central cells will be present, no doubt this is you are having endothelial cells. Here the cells will be, okay, pavemented close to the vessel wall. See now what happens? The cells no more will be present at the central. Okay, they reach to the periphery of the vessel wall. This you will call it as a pavementation. Clear? See, the peripheral pavemented neutrophils roll over endothelial cells. Clear? See here what happens? Whatever the neutrophils, okay, that is got pavemented to the vessel wall. See, these neutrophils roll over these endothelial cells. Okay, these neutrophils rolls over endothelial cells. Okay, this process you will call it as a rolling phase. See, are you getting? See what I am saying here? See, previously we had seen the cells, okay, that is got, okay, reach to the close to the vessel wall. See, now once these cells reach to the vessel wall, see these, okay, neutrophils roll over this endothelial cells. Okay, that phase you will call it as a rolling phase. Okay, and next what happens whenever these neutrophils rolling over the endothelial cells, which will be forming a, okay, that is transient bond. Okay, a bond is going to be formed between the endothelial cells and the neutrophils. Clear? Say as these two types of cells are rolling over each other, there will be forming a transient bond between the endothelial cells and the neutrophils. Okay, this you will call it as adhesion phase. Clear? See, that's why this stage you will call it as rolling and adhesion. Okay, what is this rolling and adhesions? See, once the neutrophils, okay, that will be reaching near to the vessel wall but not at the center. Clear? See, that means which will be rolling over the endothelial cells. That phase you will call it as a rolling phase. Clear? See, as they are rolling over each other, there will be forming a transient bond between the endothelial cells and the neutrophils. Okay, this phase you will call it as adhesion phase. Clear? See here what happens. Some of the molecules that will be bringing about this rolling and adhesion phase. So that means simply the neutrophils cannot roll over the endothelial cells, or simply the neutrophils cannot form a bond between the, that is endothelial cells and the neutrophils. Clear? See, that means some molecules are going to be helping for the process of this rolling and adhesion. We'll see what are those molecules which will be helping for this rolling and adhesion. Okay, first molecules you will call it as selectins. Okay, we'll see first one is selectins. Okay, these selectins, if you see, this is going to be expressed mainly where these selectins will be present, that is expressed on the surface of the endothelial cells. Suppose if you see, this is the endothelial cells, this is the surface of the endothelial cells. Clear? See, suppose these are the selectin molecules which will be expressed. This is endothelial cell. Clear? See, on the surface, this is selectins. On the surface of these endothelial cells, this selectins is going to be expressed. Okay, these selectins are going to be recognizing a carbohydrate group. Suppose if you see, this is a neutrophil. Okay, this is a neutrophil. On the surface of the neutrophil, you are having some carbohydrate groups. Okay, this you will call it as carbohydrate groups. These selectins are going to be recognizing these carbohydrate groups that are present on the surface of the neutrophils. Clear? See, this carbohydrate group, for that carbohydrate group, the best example is, yes, okay, Lewis X molecule. Okay, see, this is how, see that adhesion, or how these two are going to be forming a bond between these two cells. Clear? The selectins will be present on the surface of the endothelial cells, and these neutrophils, on the surface you are having some carbohydrate groups. These selectins will be recognizing those carbohydrate groups that are present on the surface of the neutrophils. Clear? See, this is how these selectin molecules, once it is recognizing those carbohydrate groups, immediately these neutrophils got attached to the endothelial cells. Okay, we are having different types of selectins. If you see, like you are having P-selectin molecules. This P-selectin mainly used for the rolling process. We had seen the rolling phase. Suppose this P-selectin has been expressed on the surface, then which will be recognizing the carbohydrate. Then what happens? These neutrophils will be roll over the endothelial cells. That means P-selectins mainly useful for the rolling phase. And next we are having E-selectins. Okay, this will be useful for both rolling and adhesion. Clear? So you remember these two types of selectins. Okay, this P-selectin, this is generally, it is a preformed selectin molecules that will be present inside the endothelial cells. Okay, this P-selectins generally will be present inside the endothelial cells, but once these endothelial cells are activated, that will be expressed on the surface of the endothelial cells. Clear? See, when that P-selectin molecules are expressed on the surface of the endothelial cells, see, generally that P-selectins will not be expressed on the surface, which will be present inside the endothelial cells. See, but whenever if there is any injury inside our body, see, once the neutrophils which will be, okay, forming a pavementation, okay, whenever there is a formation of pavement, then only these P-selectins or E-selectins will be expressed on the surface of the endothelial cells. But normally these selectins will not be expressed on the surface. Okay, this will be present only inside the endothelial cells. But because of any damage, then only these selectins will be expressed on the surface of the endothelial cells. Clear? So this all regarding the selectin molecules. Okay, you remember this, these P-selectins, these are, that is preformed and stored inside the endothelial cells, but whenever there is any damage, okay, that is like inflammation, in that conditions only the selectins will be expressed on the surface of the endothelial cells. Clear? And next is, if you see these E-selectin molecules, these are mainly synthesized by cytokine activated endothelial cells. So that means, suppose if you see this is a blood vessel, then what happens? Sometimes cytokine molecules which will be reaching the blood. These cytokines, if it activates the endothelial cells, then what happens? Immediately some selectin molecules are synthesized, that you will call it as E-selectin molecules. That means E-selectins which is not preformed and stored. P-selectin is preformed and stored, but E-selectin will be synthesized whenever it is required. See, that means whenever the cytokines activates the endothelial cells, then these E-selectin molecules will be synthesized. Okay, so this is regarding one molecules that will be playing an important role in case of rolling and adhesion process. Okay, and next one is, we'll see, that is integrins. Next molecules is integrins. Okay, that is integrins. Okay, if you see this integrins that will be present on the surface of endothelial cells activated. Okay, endothelial cells, that means this is also present on the surface of activated endothelial cells. Clear? So that means when these endothelial cells got activated and when these integrins will be expressed. That means, if suppose if there is any loose or transient adhesion between the endothelial cells and the neutrophils. Clear? See, suppose if there is a very, suppose if you see this is, there is a loose bond. Okay, there is a loose bond between the endothelial cells and the neutrophils. Immediately what happens? This integrins will be expressed on the surface of the endothelial cells. Clear? See, simultaneously what happens at the same time? Okay, the integrins will also be expressed on the surface of the neutrophils also. Clear? Once this is expressed, this will be stimulated. Once the integrins on the surface of the neutrophils got stimulated, which will be forming a firm adhesion, okay, which will be forming a firm adhesion between endothelial cells and neutrophils. Clear? See here you, okay, listen carefully. Here what integrins will be expressed on both the surface of the endothelial cells as well as the neutrophils. Clear? See, initially what happens? See, once these neutrophils reaches towards endothelial cells, there will be a slight or loose bond between the neutrophils and the endothelial cells. Clear? See, in such cases, okay, these and that is integrins on the surface of the endothelial cells got activated. Clear? See, at the same time what happens? The same integrins will also be stimulated on the surface of the neutrophils also. But because of the stimulation of the integrins on the surface of the neutrophils, which will be forming a firm adhesion between the endothelial cells and the neutrophils. Clear? See, whenever there is a loose bond between these two cells, here integrins of the endothelial cells will be activated. But simultaneously what happens? These integrins on the surface of the neutrophils also stimulated, but this will be useful for the firm adhesion between the endothelial cells and the neutrophils. Okay, this is regarding the integrins. And third one is, we'll see the third molecules which will be useful for the rolling and adhesion process is the immunoglobulin gene superfamily adhesion molecules. Okay, third one is immunoglobulin gene superfamily adhesion molecules. Clear? If you see for this immunoglobulin gene superfamily adhesion molecules, the example like ICAM1 and next one is VCAM1. Okay, ICAM1 means intercellular adhesion molecule 1. Okay, VCAM means vascular cell adhesion molecule 1. Okay, these two molecules allows tight adhesion, okay, which will be forming a very tight adhesion, not only which will be providing tight adhesion, which also provides stabilization of that adhesion between the endothelial cells and the neutrophils. Clear? So this is regarding the immunoglobulin gene superfamily adhesion molecules. Clear? If you see the example, that is ICAM1 and VCAM1, these two molecules which will be providing a very tight adhesion, not only providing adhesion which will be causing the stabilization of that adhesion between the endothelial cells and the neutrophils. Clear? So this is all regarding the second change, that is rolling and the adhesion. Okay, is that clear? What is meant by the rolling and adhesion, and what are the molecules that will be involved in this rolling and adhesion process? Okay, and the third one is immigration. Third change in the exudation of leukocytes is the immigration process. See, until now we had seen that is first what happens. We had seen some changes in the formed elements. Later on, what happens? Finally, because of rolling and adhesion, the neutrophils got stick to the endothelial cells. Clear? See, after sticking, okay, that is endothelial cells with the neutrophils. Clear? After the sticking to the endothelial cells, what happens? These Clear? These are the endothelial cells. See, these neutrophils, after sticking to these endothelial cells, these neutrophils moves along the endothelial surface. Okay, they are going to be moves along the endothelial surface. They are going to be moves that is along the endothelial surface till a suitable site between cells are formed. Clear? See, like this. Suppose if you see, these are the endothelial cells. Now here, okay, I will draw you with another color. Suppose if you see, these are the neutrophils. Now it got sticked. See, now these neutrophils are going to be moving along the surface of the endothelial cells till, that means, a suitable site between the cells are formed. Suitable site means, suppose if you see like this. See, as this endothelial cell is moving, now a suitable site is present. That means it got fit between the two endothelial cells. Clear? See, this is a blood vessel. If you see, this is a blood vessel. Now what happens? A suitable site is formed for the neutrophils. It got fixed between the two endothelial cells. Clear? See, now what happens, which will be forming, okay, that is, okay, you will call it as pseudopods. Clear? This you will call it as pseudopods. Okay, now these neutrophils which will be throw out cytoplasmic pseudopods. Clear? See, then what happens? As pseudopod means what? This is the membrane of the blood vessel, that is basement membrane, which will be throwing out with the help of these neutrophils. Finally, what happens? The neutrophil which will be lodged between the endothelial cells. Clear? Whatever the pseudopod is formed, where this neutrophil got fixed. See, are you getting here? See, initially there will be attachment. This neutrophil slowly moving onto the surface till a, okay, suitable site which is going to be found. Then it is fixed between the two cells. Slowly what happens? This neutrophil is pushing that basement membrane towards upside, so which will be forming one pseudopod. Clear? See, once it will be forming a pseudopode, then what happens? The neutrophils is got lodged into that pseudopode. See what happens then? From these neutrophils, some enzymes like cell collagenase, okay, from the neutrophils, this collagenase enzyme is going to be released, which will be damaging this basement membrane of the blood vessels. Clear? See, this collagenase is going to be damaging the basement membrane, okay, of the blood vessel. See, once it got damaged, then what happens? Immediately the leukocytes, which will be escaping out into the extracellular spaces. Okay, this process, see, after damaging, you are going to be observe the escape of leukocytes. Clear? See, this process you will call it as immigration. Clear? See what is meant by this immigration? This we are learning here, the immigration process. Clear? See what is this immigration process? See, once this neutrophil got attached, which will be slowly moving onto the surface till which will be finding out a suitable site between the two endothelial cells. Then slowly which will be pushing that basement membrane upwards and which will be forming a pseudopode. Now then what happens? This neutrophil got lodged into that pseudopode. Finally, the collagenase enzyme is going to be released from these neutrophils, which will be damaging this basement membrane. And finally, the leukocytes is going to be escape out from the blood vessel. Is it clear? See, then that process you will call it as immigration. Clear? See, as the basement membrane got damaged because of this collagenase, that basement membrane can be repaired immediately after the escape of the leukocytes. Okay, you remember that? See, don't think that is if there is a damage to the blood vessel, what happens later on? There will be leakage of blood cells and all those things. But the damage, whatever that has been occurred to the basement membrane, that can be repaired immediately. Clear? See here, you remember one thing. The simultaneously, along with these neutrophils, some amount of RBC, okay, the some amount of RBC can also be that is escaped, okay, along with these neutrophils. That process you will call it as diapedsis. Okay, you remember this terminology, that is diapedsis. Okay, this diapedsis means as the neutrophils is escaping out, along with that neutrophils, some amount of RBC can also be escaping out along with the neutrophils. That process you will call it as diapedsis. Clear? See, that's why if you see, if there is any skin cut, that means which will be leading to some inflammation. Clear? See, some watery, initially watery fluid will be coming out. Later on what happens? That fluid will be slightly reddish in color. Okay, that slightly reddish in color mainly because of some amount of RBC can also be escaped out along with the neutrophils, so that the plasma will be red in color. Is it clear? So this is regarding the third change in the exudation of leukocytes is the immigration process. Okay, and the last change you are going to be observed, that is chemotaxis. That is chemotaxis. Okay, this chemotaxis means with the help of some chemotactic factor mediated, there will be migration of leukocytes. See, now until now we had seen the leukocytes will be present in the extracellular spaces. Clear? See, from here it has to reach to the site of inflammation. Clear? See, that is the final target of the leukocyte, has to that is reach the target of inflammatory site. Initially here you are having the neutrophils. Clear? Now the neutrophils will be present in the extracellular space. From this space it has to reach to the site of inflammation. Until now we had seen only the neutrophils reach to the extracellular space, but how which will be reaching to the inflammatory site? With the help of this chemotaxis process. Clear? See, that we'll see example of some, okay, that is chemotactic mediators which will be carrying. That means if you see Exact meaning of chemotaxis means some agents which will be showing the path for the neutrophils to reach the inflammatory site. Clear? See, according to our language, if you see, the chemotaxis means which is the process, okay, which will be showing the path, okay, for the neutrophils to reach towards the inflammatory sites. That means some agents, as they are moving, these neutrophils are also moving along with that chemotactic substances. Okay, we'll see the examples for that potent chemotactic substances. Some of the potent chemotactic substances for neutrophils. That means for every molecules we are having some chemotactic substances. Clear example like leukotriene B4. Okay, like leukotriene B4, that is LT-B4. Next one is cytokines. Cytokines mainly the interleukins, that is interleukin 8, and some of the soluble bacterial products. Okay, these are some examples of the chemotactic substances, okay, for the neutrophils. That means if there is a chemotactic substances in the extracellular fluid, suppose if you see here, you are having interleukin 8. Clear extracellular space, you are having interleukin 8. See, that means these are the chemical mediators. That means wherever there is inflammation, automatically these substances will go towards the inflammation. If this interleukin 8 is going, means these neutrophils will follow this interleukin 8, so that finally this neutrophils also reaches to the site of inflammation. Okay, see that you will call it as a chemotaxis. Okay, what is this chemotaxis? That is chemotactic factor mediated migration of these leukocytes into the interstitial tissue. Okay, finally the tissue where there is an inflammation. Clear, with the help of some chemotactic factors. Clear, this we will call it as a chemotaxis, and these are some examples of chemotactic substances for the neutrophils. Clear? See, not for all the substances, specifically for the neutrophils, these are the chemotactic substances. Okay, what are those? Leukotriene B4, cytokines, and soluble bacterial products. Okay, that's all students, all regarding the exudation of the leukocytes. Okay, we had seen the different changes that are going to be taking place for the exudation of leukocytes. The first one is changes, okay, in the formed elements of the blood. Next one is rolling and adhesion, and the third one is the immigration, and the fourth one is the chemotaxis. Okay, uh, this all regarding the exudation of leukocytes. Okay, next process, that is phagocytosis, we are going to be discussed in the next class.